Hi everyone, this is Nathanael from New York Music Co-op, and today we'll be talking about fingerstyle guitar. We'll have some input from a few of our different guitar teachers talking about their unique techniques to approach it. So unlike Ray and Liz, I actually play fingerstyle guitar without any fingernails. I just use purely my fingertips. And this is, for multiple reasons. I actually used to play with nails. I used to play a lot more classical guitar. But sometimes life gets in the way. In particular, for me, one of my other hobbies is martial arts, specifically Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And that, like other hobbies like climbing and different things, you can't really have long fingernails for it. So you have to adapt. And one of the things that inspired me in particular was reading about Francisco Tárrega. So he's very great and well-known classical guitarist, but he didn't play with fingernails either. I believe with him it was actually because of a medical condition. So, sometimes you just can't make it work, so you have to adapt. So if you do want to play fingerstyle guitar without fingernails, one of the things you first have to do is just get used to it and understand it's not going to sound great right away. So that kind of bummed me out at first, but then I realized it was just because I didn't have calluses on my fingertips. So once you start playing more, your fingertips will harden up and it'll be easier to get a nice tone and to project more with it. The other thing to realize is that it's going to be a lot quieter, so you have to adapt. If you don't have fingernails, you really have to do a lot of rest stroke. So I pretty much exclusively play with rest stroke, unless, for other things. But like if I'm playing like a melody, it's always going to be rest stroke, just because you need that extra volume if you don't have fingernails. But you can't always play with rest stroke, obviously. So there's some things like arpeggios, where you're going to have to do free stroke. So you just need to really work on developing a good free stroke and really putting pressure into the strings with your fingertips. It's just something you'll need to work on. So one of the other things is realizing that it's not going to be great for every situation. If you're playing a very intense classical guitar piece where you really want that loud and bright sound, you're going to have a hard time getting it without fingernails. And it's just something that you have to realize and work around. Other situations, though, it is kind of an advantage. If you really want that mellow sound for something like a bossa nova, say, like... then it works great. You get a very nice kind of calm sound if you're playing with your fingertips. So you just have to know when it's going to be great and when it's not going to. Particular challenges, I'd say the hardest thing to do fingerstyle without fingernails is tremolo. So I don't practice a lot of tremolo anymore. I don't play classical guitar as much as I used to. I still play on nylon strings, but not classical repertoire. But tremolo, it is a challenge. You can still make it work, but it's going to be really hard to project, if you don't have fingernails doing tremolo, because you can't dig in and do a rest stroke. But like I said, I don't practice tremolo that much. If you do, play exclusively without fingernails and you do play a lot of classical repertoire, with practice, I'm sure you can make anything work. You can develop a technique to make tremolo easier for you, but you just need to understand that it's a challenge. So, thanks for listening. That's my perspective on fingerstyle guitar.